Students, today we see about the commerce and trade in North India. India was prosperous even during the medieval period from 12th to 16th century despite political upheavals. So even there is a political upheavals, that is the violent political violent and political crisis. There is a the India is prosperous during the 12th to 16th centuries. Okay. Then the Balban was the first sultan who paved the way in the dense forest and helped the traders and their commercial caravans to move from one marketplace to other. So Balban is the king of all king. He is the first sultan who created the way in between the dense forest. So அடர்த்தியான காடுகளுக்குள்ள he created the way and helped the traders. He helped the traders to move from one place to another by means of caravans. Alauddin Khilji bought the price to a very low ebb. He encouraged imports of foreign goods from Persia and subsidized the goods. So Alauddin Khilji encouraged imports from the foreign countries. So இறக்குமதி பண்றதுக்கு foreign goods இறக்குமதி பண்றதுக்கு Alauddin Khilji encourage பண்ணாரு from Persia and he reduced the price of the goods, that is he subsidized the goods. Then Arabs were dominant players in India's foreign trade. So India mostly trade from the Arab countries. The Indian traders import the goods from foreign countries. Foreign countries, that is mainly Arab countries. They never discouraged Indian traders like Tamils, Gujaratis, etc. The trade between the coastal ports were in the hands of Marwaris and Gujaratis. So the trade of coastal areas in the hands of Marwaris and Gujaratis. The overland trade with Central and West Asia were in the hands of Multanis, who were Hindus, and Khurasanis, who were Afghans, Iranians, and so on. During Sultanate period, trade flourished due to the establishment of currency system based on silver and copper. So Sultanate during the Sultan period, the Sultan established the currency like silver coins and copper coins. So due to that, the trade is flourished during this period. Moorish travelers describe the teeming market of big cities in the Gangetic plains, Malwas, Gujarat, and South India. So he described about the trade in these areas. The important trade centers were Delhi, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Sonargunj, Jaunpur, Lahore, and so on. The burgeoning foreign trade leads to the development of marketplace in the towns and villages. So the growing foreign trades helps in the development of markets in the towns and the villages. So India's handicraft commanded a good foreign market. So India handicraft means the India's கைவினை பொருட்கள். ஸோ கைவினை பொருட்கள் தான் அதிகமாக இம்போர்ட் பண்ணப்பட்டுச்சு ஃபாரின் கண்ட்ரீஸ்க்கு. அது அதிகமாக ஏற்றுமதி பண்ணப்பட்டுச்சு, ஃபாரினுக்கு எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணப்பட்டுச்சு, நாட் இம்போர்ட், எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணப்பட்டுச்சு இந்தியாஸ் கைவினை பொருட்கள், தட் இஸ் ஹேண்டிகிராஃப்ட். இந்தியா இம்போர்ட்டட் horses, dry fruits, precious stones, glassware, high grades textiles, raw textiles, corals, scented oils, velvets, etc. So India imported these items. India இறக்குமதி பண்ணிருக்காங்க, வாங்கிருக்காங்க from foreign countries these items and all. So from Kabul, Arabia, Europe, West Asia, and China. So from these countries India imported these products. Indian products were exported to East Africa, Malaya, China, and Far East. So India exported, ஏற்றுமதி பண்ணாங்க இந்த கண்ட்ரீஸ்க்கெல்லாம் அவங்க இந்தியா ஏற்றுமதி பண்ணாங்க. Trade was conducted through overland routes with Afghanistan, Central Asia, and Persia. India conducted foreign trade via land route with Kuta, Khyber Pass, Iraq and Bukhara. The traders of Malabar, Gujarat and foreign settlers in the port of Calicut, Kubat and Mangalore controlled a major business sector in the port cities. So they controlled the trade in the port cities. Next one is trade with Rome, China, and Europe. Rome and Greek traders frequented the ancient Tamil country and forged trade relationship with ancient king of Pandyas, Cholas, and Chera dynasties. So, அவங்க வந்து ஒரு போலியான ஒரு ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் வச்சிருந்தாங்க. They have a plan to capture these empires. So they have a plan and they are in the relationship with trade relationship with Pandyas and Cheras and Chola dynasties. Cholas had a strong trading relationship with China strong dynasty. The Cholas conquered the Sri Vijaya Empire of Indonesia and Malaysia to secure a sea trading route to China. So Chola conquered the Sri Vijaya Empire of Indonesia and Malaysia. So Chola king வந்து அங்கேயும் அவங்களோட எம்பையரை வந்து எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ் பண்ணாங்க, எக்ஸ்பேண்ட் பண்ணாங்க. They developed their sea trading route to China there. During the 16th and 18th centuries, India's overseas trade expanded due to the trading with European countries. So during the 16th and 18th centuries, the overseas trade is expanded due to the trading of European countries with India. So the sea trade is expanded. The discovery of new all sea routes from Europe to India via Cape of Good Hope by Vasco da Gama had far-reaching impact on the civilized world. So he created the first route between the India and Europe. The arrival of Portuguese in India was followed by the advent of other European communities. So they followed Portuguese followed after the European communities. Okay. India's maritime trade was a monopolized one over European, and at one stage the global trade share of India was 55%, which is just 2% in 21st centuries. So the trade between the Europe and India was 55 percentage when the centuries like 16th and 16th to 18th centuries and all. But now it is a 2%. Now it is a 2% in 21st centuries. The 55 percentage is now it is a only 2%. The European merchants who came to India were not only individual merchants but also represented the representative government. So they are not the individual merchants, they represent their government as well. They gained a strong foothold in India's maritime trade by virtue of their strong naval power. So by navy force, by the route of sea, that is the maritime trade route of sea, they have a strong foothold in the India's maritime trade. Okay, they gain the strong footprint. In course of time, their commercial motives turned into territorial ambitions like the East India Company, which became the British Empire here. So first they have the commercial motives. Later that is turned into the capturing of the empire. So ஒரு நாட்டை அபகரிக்கிறோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு motive ஆயிடுச்சு. First their motive is the commercial motive. commercial motive மட்டும் தான் இருந்துச்சு. But later it is turned into the capturing of the dynasty through the East India Company. Textiles and shipbuilding earned the name and fame in the 7th and 18th century. Okay, Britishers gradually abolished princely orders in the Indian territories. So Indian territories la princely states அவங்களோட கிங்ஸோட ஆர்டரை வந்து அவங்க அபாலிஷ் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. யாரு? பிரிட்டிஷ் ஈஸ்ட் இந்தியா கம்பெனி. Thus, the demand for Indian goods declined during the British rules. So, the demand for the British goods from the foreign country is declined during this British rules. Britishers put in the place policies prohibiting the export of some of the popular goods like India's textiles goods and handicraft to Great Britain. So they abolished the export of the great products of textiles and handicrafts. So India வந்து textile handicrafts தான் வந்து அதிகபட்சமா எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணப்பட்டுச்சு. So அத வந்து என்ன பண்ணாங்க பிரிட்டிஷ் வந்து they stopped that trade in this during that British period, British ruling stage. Between early 1600 and mid 19th century, the British East India Company led establishment and expansion of foreign trade all over India. So during this all over Asia, so during these centuries, they expanded their foreign trade over this Asian continent. Although initial interest of East India Company was aimed at reaping profit. So the initial motive is to gain profit. Initial motive of the East India Company is to create more profit, gain more profit. Their single-minded focus was on establishing a trade monopoly throughout Asia Pacific, made them heralding agents of British colonial imperialism. Okay, so their motive is to the monopoly, that is அவங்க தனித்துவமா இருக்கணும். monopoly அவங்க monopoly கண்ட்ரோலா இருக்கணும். that is throughout the Asia Pacific. So throughout the Asia Pacific அவங்க தான் ஒரு மோனோபொலியா இருக்கணும். ட்ரேட்ல வந்து தனித்துவமா அவங்க மட்டும் தான் இருக்கணும். So they established that throughout the Asian Pacific. Okay. Good morning students. Next we see about the barter system. Goods were exchanged for goods prior to the invention of money. So before the invention of money, the goods are exchanged for goods. That is the barter system. So barter system worked on certain conditions mentioned below. The first condition is each party to barter must have the surplus stock for the trade to take place. So they the person must have the surplus stock. If they don't have the excess stock, then there will not be any exchange took place. Okay, the next point is both the buyers and sellers should require the goods each other desperately. That is double coincidence of want. இப்போ பர்சன் ஏ இருக்காங்க, பி இருக்காங்க. பர்சன் ஏக்கு வந்து சர்ப்ளஸ் ரைஸ் இருக்கு, பர்சன் பிக்கு வந்து சர்ப்ளஸ் வீட் இருக்கு. இப்போ பர்சன் ஏக்கு அந்த பர்சன் பி கிட்ட இருக்கிற சர்ப்ளஸ் வீட் வந்து தேவைப்பட்டாதான் வந்து அங்க நடக்கும். அதே மாதிரி பர்சன் பிக்கு வந்து பர்சன் ஏ கிட்ட இருக்கிற ரைஸ் வந்து அவங்களுக்கு வாண்டடா இருந்தாதான் அங்க வந்து பேட்டர் சிஸ்டம் நடக்கும், அங்க வந்து எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் நடக்கும். ஸோ there should be a double coincidence of wants. The third point is buyers and sellers should meet personally to effect the exchange. The buyers and sellers should meet personally for the exchange. Next we see about the constraints in barter system. The barter system envisages mutual exchange of one's goods to other without the intervention of money as a medium of exchange. It possesses certain constraints in the smooth flow of trade as explained below. The first constraint is the lack of double coincidence of want, as we already seen. the lack of double coincidence of wants. If there is a lack of double coincidence of wants, the barter system will not take place. So we see about that. Unless two persons who have surplus have the demand for the goods possessed by each other, barter would not be materialized. For instance, A is having a surplus of groundnut and B is possessing rice in surplus. In this case, A should be in need of rice possessed by B, as the latter should as the latter should desperately need groundnut possessed by A. If this coincidence of wants does not exist, as barter system not take place. So நான் already example சொன்ன மாதிரி தான் அது வந்து டபுள் கோஇன்சிடென்ஸ் இல்லைன்னா the barter system வந்து நடக்காது. The next we see about non-existence of common measures of value. Barter system could not determine the value of commodities to be exchanged as they lacked commonly acceptable measures to evaluate each and every commodity. It was difficult to compare the values of all articles in the absence of an acceptable medium of exchange. So there is no value of goods, they are exchanged. இப்போ ஒரு வீட் இருக்கு ரைஸ் இருக்கு ஸோ வீட்டுக்கு ஒரு வேல்யூ இருக்கும் ரைஸ்க்கு ஒரு வேல்யூ இருக்கும் ஸோ தேர் இஸ் இன் திஸ் கேஸ் தேர் இஸ் நாட் த எக்ஸிஸ்டன்ஸ் ஆஃப் வேல்யூ ஃபார் மெஷரிங் தி goods. So that is the major constraints in the barter system. The next we see the third point, lack of direct contact between the producer and consumer. It was not possible for buyers and sellers to meet face to face in many contexts for exchanging the commodities. This hindered the process of barter in all practical sense. So barter system la kandipa there should be a personal contact between the buyers and sellers. நம்ம அவங்க பர்சனலா மீட் பண்ணி ஆகணும் ஸோ அது ஒரு கான்ஸ்டன்டா இருக்கு lack of direct contact between the producer and the consumer. Producer and consumersக்கு direct contact இல்ல ஸோ அது வந்து ஒரு major constraint இருக்கு. Next we see about lack of surplus stock. Absence of surplus stock was one of the impediment in barter system. If the buyers and sellers do not have surplus, then no barter was possible. இப்போ ஒரு பர்சன் எக்ஸ்ட்ரா அவங்க யூஸ் பண்ணது போல எக்ஸ்ட்ரா இருக்கிறதா சர்ப்ளஸ் ஸோ அந்த சர்ப்ளஸ் இருந்தால் மட்டும்தான் அவங்க barter சிஸ்டம் நடக்க முடியும். If there is no surplus stock, there will not be any exchange and there will not be any the barter system. These are about the constraints of barter system. Next we see about the invention of money. All the foresaid constraints were addressed by the invention of money as a medium of exchange. Besides, there are other hindrances in the smooth exchange of goods from the place of production to the place of consumption, like place, time, risk, knowledge, finance, and so on. So there are the other delays for the smooth exchange of goods. That is the delay in place, time. Hindrance means delay, like that. There is a delay in place, time, risk, knowledge, finance, and so on. These are addressed by various mechanisms in detail in the subsequent section of this chapter. Next we see about the hindrance of commerce. So what are the delay in commerce? We will see there. Production of goods and services for the satisfaction of human wants is the main objective of industry. The main objective of industry is the production of goods and services for the satisfaction of human wants. So to satisfy the human wants, they produce the goods and services. That is the main objective of the industry. Reaching those goods and services to the people for where these are produced is the object of commerce. The object of commerce is to reach the products to the ultimate consumer, consumer from where the goods is produced. That is the objective of commerce. Commerce serves as a value link between the producer and the consumers. It render a variety of services to ensure that the passage of goods and services between two is completed without any let or hindrance. So it ensure there will not be any delay in the contact of buyers and sellers to reach the goods and services to the consumers. Okay. Accordingly, commerce may be defined as the organized system for the exchange of goods and services between the member of industrial board. So, commerce is the systematic way that through commerce we can exchange. That is happened. The commerce has happened in the systematic way. It is organized system for the exchange of goods and services between the members of the industrial board. It comprises all forms of trade, wholesale, retail, import and export, and entrepreneurial services which aid and assist the trading activities such as banking, transport, warehousing, insurance, and advertising. So it compromises all the trades like wholesale, retails, and all. Okay, and assists with the trading activities. These are the trading activities, right? Banking, transport. We from the producer, we through transport only the product is reaching to the consumers, and warehouse, insurance, and advertising. Next, we see about the elimination of hindrance of commerce. Business consists of all industries and commerce. It serves to remove several hindrances and solve many problems which facilitating the production and distribution of goods. The various hindrances removed by business are as follows. The first one is hindrance of person. Manufacturers do not know the place and face of the consumer. So ஒரு மேனுஃபேக்சருக்கு அவங்களோட அந்த ப்ராடக்ட் ரீச் பண்ற ஒரு பிளேஸ் தெரியாது, அந்த ரீச் பண்றோட கன்சியூமரை பார்த்துருக்கவே அவங்க முடியாது, அவங்கள தெரியாது, அவங்களோட அல்டிமேட் கன்சியூமரை அவங்களுக்கு மேனுஃபேக்சரர்ஸ்க்கு வந்து தெரியாது. It is the retailers who know the taste, preference, and location of the consumer. Retailers only know about the taste, preference, and location of the consumers. The chain of middlemen consisting of wholesalers, agents, and retailers establish the link between the producers and consumers. So the middleman is establishing the link between the producer and consumer through the wholesalers, agents, and retailers. These are the middlemen between the producer and the consumers. Okay. The next one is hindrance of place. Production takes place in one center and consumers are spread throughout the country and world. Rail, air, sea, and land transports bring the products to the place of consumers. So the production is taking place in one place in one country, but the import is happening, export happening throughout the countries. So for this, these rail, air, sea, land transport and all helping for this to reach the product to the ultimate consumer. Next, we see about the hindrance of time. Consumers want products whenever they have money, time, and willingness to buy. So, எப்பப்பெல்லாம் வந்து கன்சியூமர்ஸ்க்கு டைம் இருக்கோ, மணி இருக்கோ, அண்ட் வில்லிங்னஸ் டு பை இருக்கோ, ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் வாங்குறதுக்கு அவங்க வில்லிங்னஸ் இருக்கோ, அப்பப்பெல்லாம் அவங்களுக்கு குட்ஸ் கிடைக்கணும். Goods are produced in anticipation of such demand. So, they are stored in warehouses in different regional centers. So they can be distributed at the right time to the consumers. So the producer goods are saved in the warehouse, in their warehouse. So warehouse in different regions. So if the consumers wants any goods, they can able to deliver the product at a time. So next we see about the hindrance of risk of deterioration in quality. Okay. Proper packing and modern air conditioned storage house ensure that there is no deterioration in quality of products, goods or protected against insects, rats, evaporation, etc. So that the proper package should be done with the modern air conditioned storage house. So that there is not any deterioration in quality. The product or quality ல வந்து எந்த மாற்றமும் இருக்காது. நம்ம ஸ்டோர் பண்ணும்போது அந்த ரிஸ்க் இருக்காது. Goods are protected against insects, rats கிட்ட இருந்து, then evaporation. Some goods எல்லாம் evaporation ஆகும். So அது கிட்ட இருந்தெல்லாம் நம்ம வந்து தடுக்கலாம். That prevent பண்ணலாம் நம்ம. Next we see about hindrance of risk of loss. Fire, theft, flood and accidents may bring huge loss to the business. Insurance company serves to cover the risk of such losses. So by accident, flood and all, there will be a huge loss in the business. So that the insurance company serves to cover that risk. The insurance companies will help during that loss. Okay. So thereby the hindrance of risk of losses, we can able to manage the hindrance of risk of loss. That should be avoided. That is avoided. Next we see about the hindrance of knowledge. Advertising and communication helps in announcing the arrival of new products and their uses to the people. Through advertisement, we can able to know about the new product which is emerged in the market, so that the consumer know about the knowledge of the product. So it is try to remove the hindrance of knowledge. So next we see about the hindrance of exchange. Money functions as a medium of exchange and enables the buyers and sellers of the product or services by payment of the right price. So hindrance of exchange la ஒரு money functions, money தான் ஒரு medium of exchange இருக்கு. Enables the buyers and sellers of any products or services by the payment of the product at the right time. Okay, ஒரு right time la the payment வந்து நம்ம make பண்ணலாம். Next, hindrance of finance. The producer and the traders may not have the required funds at the time of their needs. Bank and other financial institutions provide funds and help in transfer of funds to enable the functions of business smoothly. So if the business needs any finance, the banks helps for their business by funding some required amount. So that is the very important help that bank providing to the business, so that the hindrance of finance is avoided. Next we see about the hindrance of developing the exact product. Research and development helps in developing the exact products or services which can satisfy the specific wants of consumers and thus improve the standard of living of the people. So through research and development, it helps in the development of exact products or services which can satisfy the specific wants of the consumers. So ஒரு research and development இருக்கும்போது the consumers ஓட taste and preference தெரிஞ்சு அவங்களுக்கு தேவைப்படுற ப்ராடக்ட்ஸை நம்மளால ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ண முடியும். Okay, and improve the standard of living of the people. So thereby they improve the standard of living of the people. Next one is hindrance of both selection and delivery at doorstep. E-commerce enables the consumers to select the products in the website, place online orders and make payment after receiving the product at the doorstep. Through e-commerce, we can able to get the product at our doorstep. So it is very important, and we pay the amount once we received the product. We pay the amount through cash or through online. We pay the amount through bank transfer. We can pay. Okay, this is the hindrance of both selection and delivery at doorsteps.